So, in case you guys forgot, and I know you probably did, this is the 10th episode of Hot Takes and Streaming Breaks.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
You're supposed to provide pancakes.
So, earlier today, coincidentally, I actually brought in big cups, the Reese's Big Cups with the Cocoa Puffs in it. Or not Cocoa Puffs, but Reese's Puffs in them.
Uh-huh. It doesn't sound like a pancake, though.
Well, it's really close.
You've really disappointed us today.
You know what?
And did those make it here?
Yeah, they did. They did. No, they made it here.
They
They made it here.
kitchen.
They were in the, I don't know if they are anymore.
I don't know, but our sign is blinking.
Our sign is doing whatever it wants. Sometimes it's an avatar too. If you're listening to this, we have a TV panel that's got our logo on it here in the Studio 809 6035 podcast studio thing. And sometimes it flicks to Avatar Way of the Water. We are not sponsored by Avatar to the Smurf movie Way of Water.
No.
However, it likes to channel it's not magenta having, or well, it's not magenta because it's display. If it were print, it'd be magenta. What the heck is it on here if it doesn't display red? It's red. RGB.
Yeah.
So it's got gray. So it's green and blue that work, and then the red doesn't.
I'm just thinking about how I want to name the monitor James Cameron. So anytime we talk about James Cameron, we're just talking about this monitor that insists on being blue.
And then we have a drink.
And then we have a drink.
And then we end up dead. And it's like, that was only an hour long. What the heck happened? So today, I'll have you guys know, before we get into this episode, this was my second day riding into work. And it was an adventure.
On your bike?
On my bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
this is
okay,
the bike.
riding into work. You
Yeah.
do
Usually
come
I
here,
float.
right?
Usually I float in.
Okay.
I've got a magic carpet.
Yeah.
That's thrilling. No, it's a 7.5 miles.
I thought you were going to say 7.5 hours. I was like,
I was about
dang.
to. I'm like, oh,
That's a journey.
I would have needed some water and a bathroom break probably, but hopefully. Make sure. I don't know. I'm still getting used to that seat. I'm debating whether I need a softer seat or I just need to ride it more so that my seat, my personal seat, is ready for the seat. I think that's where I'm at.
No.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. I've never ridden that far on a bike ever before, and it's all downhill. I haven't done the other way yet. But while it's a little bit warmer, but riding in the street is so interesting. And getting used to, we were talking about gears. I was talking about gears last time around.
Gears of War? Or?
Yeah. Gears, when you're going up that hill and you're like,
all of a sudden you grab your Lancer and it's just like
you're
chainsawing. And,
and there's no one else there. So it's just like you're carving up your leg or something like that. It's like, why did I do this? What kind of terrible fantasy is this?
Yeah.
It's the Final Fantasy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Which number?
I don't know, but this is the Oops All Gaming podcast. I think,
it is. Yeah, today we're going to talk about a lot of gaming. That's the fun trope? It's like, well, how can it be Final Fantasy when there's 17 of them? Or I guess there's like 20 with all or 30 or 40 with all the spin-offs and stuff.
I don't know if anybody's laughed at that joke in a good 15 years. I just did.
Yeah, we were talking about stuff that we don't like people doing, and I remember I was on Twitter, and I'm like, remember on Twitter you would do...
Are you back on Twitter?
I've been on... So I got rid of my personal account, but I've been on Twitter, writing it out until the sun scorches the earth and boils away the oceans and all that stuff. But there was a thing where you'd have like Will Wheaton and stuff. They'd be like, name of location, I am in you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, that is horrifyingly awful. Mm-hmm. And people kept saying it. That's like a Chris Hardwick thing.
I remember saying it. I've said it.
Victoria.
Are you still on Twier?
Yeah.
I gotta cancel it now.
Yeah.
I've definitely said it. I think I might have been in college at the time.
I said it just because of Will Wheaton always said it.
My house, I am in you.
Was he known for saying that or something?
Every time we went somewhere and he was there, I'd see it because I think I follow him and
and then
of course you do. And then
it's the like 5 defaults.
Yeah, I mean it's like you go to a con and he's going to be there, right? So then I'd know like is this an actual con to go to? Is Will Wheaton here? And then I'd see Phoenix, I am in you. I'm like, okay, well then I think this is a con to go to.
Must be legit if Will Wheaton's in you.
And you realize like they're getting usually when they show up, they're getting a paycheck from the festival organizers or the con organizers, and then they make their money on top of that.
Right.
It's not an advance or anything. It's just like show up. Because then we get to put you on the huge
Tweet
concert
that you're
listing.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Phoenix Comic-Con, I am in you.
Maybe that's like a contract thing that he has, and he has to announce
Like an
that.
obligate.
Yeah.
That makes sense, though. I will never be an influencer, fingers crossed, but I'm waiting for the,
Not if you cross your fingers like that.
Right.
Well,
like
is that
how
double,
Spock would cross
quadruple?
his fingers. Definitely not going to be an influencer like that.
Live long and prosper. Also sign this EULA because you have an embargo on this new energy drink.
Right.
That
What is it called?
Spock's drink.
Oh, thanks for breaking
It's called Logic.
Oh, Lord.
You got Logic in the blue can, you get Emotion in the red can. Yeah, and it's got Leonard Nimoy, not Zachary Quinto's Spock.
I'm proud you remembered him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's the only thing I really know him from. So
American
Heroes.
Horror Story.
he was in Heroes. Yeah.
He's in things.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that was like a decade ago.
Heroes was a long running show, good show.
For what, one season?
No,
A long running
Come
show
on.
for one season.
no, it was good until writer's strike.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
What, was it doomed before then, though?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Don't talk bad about that show.
Oh, man.
That's such a good show. Save the cheerleaders, save the world.
I remember when that was a thing. Speaking of things that are things, let's start the show. Look at this show that we're doing. Yeah. Hello and welcome to Hot Takes and Stream Breaks, the bi-weekly pop culture podcast brought to you by 6035 Media. I put the right name in here this time. Woo. I'm your host, reporter Nick Raven, and joining me in studio, I did not remove the virtually. I am really behind on this. The guy who watches too much TV over to my right here, Kelly Karnetsky. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay.
That's fantastic. And then in front of me, because we moved around this table, we're all in the view now. We've got account executive Victoria Constantino. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
Fantastic. We've
Ready
got
for some spicy takes.
Oh my God. Are you ready to receive the spicy takes or are you ready to deliver the spicy takes?
Well, considering this is maybe the last podcast before Valentine's Day, I think we could all give and receive some spicy takes.
This is the show that you give to the person you love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I want to get some like polos in pink with like hot takes and stream breaks in the stitched in
Embroidery.
whatever, and industrialized onto here,
Yeah.
applied, and then like some hats.
Oh yeah. In that like baby Pepto-Bismol pink.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, and they're Pepto-Bismol boxes too. So we're always delivering them, and inside it's just like an origami fold out. It says hot takes.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the board and see if we can get something like that for whatever it is that we do down here
For Valentine's Day.
for Valentine's Day, or just forever, because we are the gift that keeps on giving forever. I mean, we didn't stop for holiday break.
Oh, we kept going?
We kept going. We did
And
not
that's how we
stop.
made it to episode 10.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Except this is technically episode 11 because we lost episode 3. And that was entirely my fault because
So we should have had pancakes last week.
yeah, exactly. So I am totally void. I'm not in any trouble
Well, no,
whatsoever.
Yeah, but last week you should have been in trouble.
Yeah, and now I'm not. Dad, I'm not in trouble. Mom said I was in trouble. Dad said I'm not. Anyway, our main event today, we are going over the first 4 episodes of The Last of Us. Did you get caught up too?
I'm caught up.
We are all caught up. I'm good. You're good. We're good.
I've been good.
That's good.
Good.
But before that, we're going to get into the news. We've got a lot of gaming news today, and I was telling Victoria here before you got in that I did not realize it until I printed it out. It's like, this is all gaming. So this is the Oops All Gaming news. And I started looking like, hey, maybe there's some movie news. I'm like, scroll. Nah, we're good. I'm all right. So this first story is for Victoria.
Woohoo. From IGN, Ghost Story Games' Judas is currently planned for release by March 2025. Good Lord, that's a long time.
Yeah.
This comes from Take-Two's quarterly earnings report, which outlines that it has 87 total games planned for release between fiscal 2023, the fiscal year we're in now, which concludes at the end of March, and fiscal 2025, which ends at the end of March 2025. Speaking to IGN ahead of the earnings release, I asked Zelnick if Judas was included in that 87 number, and he said yes.
Keep going.
Keep going. There is a part 2.
Yes, there's a part 2 there.
We did have some slippage in the last few years, he said. We feel really stable right now. I feel great about our upcoming schedule. Of course, there's always the possibility of some slippage, but the teams seem to be functioning really well, and I'm optimistic about delivering great titles to the marketplace on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, isn't that great? So this is almost a nothing burger because he's just broadly speaking about everything. These 87 games that they're talking about through the next 2 years, essentially.
That's a lot of games.
That is a ton of games.
But when you consider half of them are NBA, 2K, whatever, then it's like, oh, okay.
But still, 43 and a half games is a lot of games.
And the at least 20 and a half are the Game Boy Advance ports
of NBA.
Is that what the notes say?
No.
So do they count? Do they count each
SKU?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's individual SKU or if it's the actual game and then they count the ports or the cross, because you build we know we're game developers. All you have to do is just open up your IED, your development studio, and you go save as PS5 game.
Yeah, and then PS4.
Yeah,
and then a special edition for each one. With just a different cover art and a metal case.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And then Xbox, and then PC, and then Game Boy.
Save it. Right, Game Boy, exactly.
Game Boy,
and DS. And Neo Geo.
Switch,
And Switch. Yeah, Switch is still out there. And Linux.
We need a mobile version, too.
And mobile version.
Don't forget the
Linux.
Mac,
Yeah, and don't forget the Mac port. Yeah.
Nobody on Mac plays NBA 2K.
This is a chicken and egg thing where it's like if they did a 2K game, an NBA 2K game
That'd
for
be the
Mac.
number one seller.
Exactly. Like Steve Jobs would show up and be like, man, I've been really, I'm really passionate about design, but I really want to dribble a ball on my machine.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe more Tim Cook, I guess.
Yeah, maybe now.
Sorry, Tim Apple. So Judas is famously, and it's been now a month and a half since they unveiled it at the VGAs, the Video Game Awards. You weren't here, unfortunately. You get to talk to us about that. And I figured you would have had the hottest take of them all.
I have the hottest take of them all?
Yeah, on Judas.
On Judas?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no!
I
was in.
I just feel like I'm gonna get in trouble.
Oh no!
It looks fine.
You heard it here first.
It looks fine. It looks fine.
It looks like a game.
It looks like a game.
It looks like Borderlands. Like that wacky.
It doesn't look like Borderlands. It looks like a BioShock clone.
But with Borderlands humor and characters.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
There is one clip in that trailer that is staged, or whatever gaming term you use, exactly like one of the starting scenes in the first BioShock.
Sure.
And that's when I checked out. I was like, there's homage.
Smurf
and then,
mode on.
Yeah, and James... There's homage, and then there's doing the same thing again, and I am extremely worried about that. I, of all people, want another BioShock game.
They did one. They did 2 of them.
They did 3 of them. Thank you.
Did they?
Infinite?
2 and Infinite. I'm sorry, the sequels. There was 2 sequels. There was 3 of them total. Yeah.
3 of them total. Yeah.
Exactly. I haven't played Infinite since it came out.
I've played it within the past year.
Yeah.
I think just because I had a PS5 and wanted to play something.
I'm bored. Let's just play this. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I would love a new BioShock. And if
they're making one, Sean Elliott's the designer.
Well, that's what Judas is.
But in space.
Yeah,
Rapture is now.
I'm holding my breath.
Yeah.
We'll see. And that's how spicy it gets.
Are you entitled to the oxygen from your tank? No, says the space god of space. That took me a second to figure out. I'm tentatively excited, considering it's been 10 years this year, like in a month or so, since Infinite came out. And they fired everyone 9 years ago, almost everyone, and redid the studio as it used to be Irrational, and then it became Ghost Stories, and they haven't released anything since. And there's been rumors over the years of mismanagement and Ken Levine being a perfectionist and also not knowing what he wanted at all ever during development. So that's pretty great. So
just highly skeptical.
Yeah,
highly skeptical.
I think if
Potential's there.
Yeah, there's been some slippage. A few years. So that's a great term. Did you never beat Infinite? Did you?
No, I don't beat any game. So
no, you don't beat any game unless you have to platinum or get all the achievements or beat it on the hardest difficulty.
You don't need to finish Infinite.
The ending is the best part.
Well, the ending cutscene is the best part.
Yeah,
you can go on YouTube for that.
Yeah,
but it's been like 8 years or something. So it's like, would you even make it? I mean, it barely made sense then, but now that you've been removed from the game for so long,
it's vivid in my head. So
okay, yeah. Photographic memory. So
it's old news to say that BioShock Infinite's gameplay is not the best.
I distinctly remember that from the original game too. It's like, this is great, except when I have to play it.
Yeah.
I have that problem with Remedy games too, except for Max Payne. Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, I think that's the only one. I haven't played Control though. I need to play Control.
I hear it's great.
I got it for free on EGS. Haven't, but I don't think my machine will run it very well unless it's a slideshow. All right, number 2. This is yours.
Okay. So this is from Apple Insider. Myst is coming back to iPhone and iPad for 30th anniversary. A fully 3D version of Myst dubbed Myst Mobile. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's really original.
Myst Touch.
Right? I missed.
That was so great.
Is getting an iPhone and iPad release. Created 30 years ago, the legendary puzzle game Myst was a commercial success and even helped accelerate the sale of CD-ROM drives.
It's true.
Oh, I didn't know that.
How did you not know that? That was like we need to buy a new computer because I can't play Myst. Yeah.
Okay.
I bought this CD coaster.
Yeah. Wow. Now Myst Mobile will make its way to iPhone and iPad, driving iPad and iPhone sales. I'm just kidding. I just made that part up.
I've been waiting to buy an iPhone.
I was getting really excited for that. I was dang.
This
Maybe they'll have a product red for just Myst.
Samsung's like, man, how are we going to sell phones if we don't have Myst?
Right? Exactly.
Seriously.
Yeah. Okay. So it says the title is a port of the 2021 remastered original, which has been available to play on PC and Oculus headsets.
Yeah. So you get your VR experience. I almost bought Myst. My dad was on tour. He had to go overseas, and I'm just going to tilt this camera up just a little bit so you can see more. I think James Cameron's been really messing with it.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on. Perfect. Isn't that great?
Oh.
If you've been watching this far, which I don't know how long that is, it's fixed now. So my dad left for Australia. He's like, I'm going to buy you 2 games. I'm like, cool.
Myst. And a second copy of Myst.
I almost...
Just in case.
So I got Dark Forces. Yeah. So I got Dark Forces and Myst. And I'd never played Myst. I always just remember it on shelves. It's like, that's a popular game. I should probably own or play that or something. And they convinced me not to. Good parenting. And I don't remember what the other game was. Maybe it was...
Grand Theft Auto 2.
That wasn't out yet. Oh. This was 95. So the original wasn't even out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park Chaos Island.
No. And not Trespasser either. So I remember playing Trespasser at like 320 by 200 on my machine that didn't have a 3D accelerator. And it was like everything was dithered and ugly. And it ran at like 5 to 10 frames per second at like half clock speed. So moral of the story is I didn't get Myst, and then my friend brought it over a couple years later, and I'd played Myst for the first time, and we played for like, I don't know, 20 minutes or something, and it was, there's like early on, there's that like power conduit puzzle where you have to set everything up, flip a switch, and if you don't get it right, you have to go back up like 3 screens or something, flip the transformer and then come back down and try it again. And I've played Abduction, actually. I streamed Abduction like 2 years ago or something. And that's a pretty all right game for a puzzle game. But I don't like puzzle games. The moral of the story is Myst is for sadists and people who do not like actually playing games. It's not a fun jigsaw puzzle. It is a puzzle that is designed to make you hate puzzles. It is a weapon.
You've got a whole community that is out there ready to grab that spicy take and run with it.
Yeah. I remember reading the PC Gamer article or review for Ridden, which Myst fans love Ridden. Like, Ridden is a holy artifact. Came out like 97 or 98, I think. And every adventure game of that era, especially as they were bumping up the resolution, they were finally getting to like 640 by 40.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. The puzzles were such that you were basically just clicking on every single pixel to see if there was something in the environment. Or it's like, please let me do something. Let me do anything in this game.
How many pixels is that total? 640 by 480.
Hang on. I don't have a pen. I was going to say, let's do some long multiplication. Yeah. Hang on. We're going to find out how many pixels is... No, it's not cheating because I don't have my...
Did you have that back in 95?
People listening?
My multiplication tables went to 12 by 12, okay? Not 640 by 480. That's absurd, Kelly. Why would you ask me that? Why did I bury the calculator that far deep? Okay. 307,200 pixels.
That's a lot of clicks.
That's a third of a megapixel.
Wow.
Yeah.
They had to click that many times?
Yeah.
On each frame?
On each frame.
Wow.
Well, thankfully, it would there would be a movie and then it would bring you to a still shot with maybe some animated bits in there. Mm-hmm. So at least it was like, not 24 frames per second you're having to click, but...
You're like, I guess I got to start clicking now.
Yeah.
Start counting.
It's like Diablo or something.
Right.
Anyway, but now you can just touch it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I actually downloaded, was it Diablo Legend? The new one that everyone hates. It's the free-to-play, or the pay-to-win one. Anyway, I downloaded that for my phone, and I got like halfway through the tutorial. I'm like, I'm good. I'm all right.
How much money did you pay in the tutorial?
Nothing, actually.
That's good.
Yeah, I kept my wallet safe, even though I could just double-click the Apple Pay and take it. I was on a... no, it was a free download. Yeah, free to play. Yeah. The words I just said. Yeah. And I was thinking I was in the Apple Arcade trial, and it was one of those. That's $5 a month. But it's not. It's just a game. You just download it, and then you give it your money. All right. This one is a fun one because it makes me sad. Go ahead, number 3 there.
All right. From Kotaku. Nintendo's big Mario Kart ride at Universal can only be ridden by thin people. Ugh. Come on. An elaborate 3D and 4D ride, according to the official page for Mario Kart's Bowser's Challenge. Why is that so hard to say? The single-user ride takes attendees through a variety of Mario-themed settings brought to life with cutting-edge technology. On the ride, you'll individually or collectively team up to foil Team Bowser's plans to grab that golden cup before Mario and his friends do. But, as the Wall Street Journal observed in an article highlighting the limiting weight requirements, which can be found on the official app for park navigation and line management, quote, guests whose waistline is at least 40 inches or greater may not be accommodated on the ride. The app's copy indicates that there's a test seat available to gauge whether or not an attendee meets these requirements. Given that the average waist circumference in the U.S. is just around 40 inches, this certainly seems likely to exclude a good number of folks.
This could exclude me. Just a little thing there.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah. Mario is an exercise enthusiast, okay? He
plays tennis. He plays golf.
He rides a cart, which you would not assume is any kind of physically intense or at all.
And yet, he is still a plus-size plumber man.
Yeah, and I'm sure his BMI is through the roof. He's got to like watch his cholesterol, and he's kind of he's getting older, so he's probably scheduled colonoscopy and all that stuff. I don't know if Mario could ride this Right, and I think only Bowser could get in if he bullied everyone in and potentially got decapitated or something along the way. But what is it when theme parks start discriminating against people because of how much Reese's they eat on a tip? That's not fair. It really isn't. I remember The Simpsons. Homer was fat, and he's like, "I'm so fat." And he'd step on the scale, and it'd be like, back then, it'd be like, oh my gosh, it's an overwhelming amount. It was 225 pounds. and he lost like a couple pounds during that episode. It's been like 20 years since I've seen it. The point is, people have changed, and rides are different. And I think this used to be, this was some other ride. I wonder if this was Orlando. Can't remember. Because I got Orlando and Los Angeles, Burbank. Where's it, Glendale?
And where's it? Wait, which park?
Universal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's only 2 of them. This reminds me a lot of that like Men in Black ride. Have you guys been to Universal? I went to Universal like 20 years ago, and they had a Men in Black ride, and they had Back to the Future and E.T., and I think all of them had been ripped out and replaced with something else like Rick and Morty or something. And I almost talked about Rick and Morty this week, and it's like, no, that's a little too dour for this show.
Not.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bit much. But standards have changed. And they're just shy of them giving everyone a VR headset, because they were doing 3D goggles. Or 3D glasses, I should say, for the longest time. But if you're going to get this fully interactive thing, you got to be thin.
I got to say, I almost, not quite. I almost want to commend them in using inches instead of pounds, as terrible as that might seem, because I feel like that's maybe a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I understand that you can't make everything available to everybody at the same time. 40?
Yeah.
That's it? Like, do you have any idea how many people you're excluding?
Like Shaq. Shaq's not getting on this ride.
Right. I don't know.
This is also, I suck at theme parks, and I don't go on many rides, and this would be the one I go on and I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be the only one you would want to go
try. I want to see Bowser.
There's nothing else.
There's nothing.
Harry Potter.
I'm good at the snack line. Actually, I did. No, they hadn't put in Harry Potter yet. I can't remember if this was the old Spider-Man ride from back in the day or something like that. They had, when I was there, they had an Adventures, that was like Universal Studios, and then like Adventures of Fun. That's Iowa. Worlds of Fun and Adventure, Oceans of Fun. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Des Moines.
Yeah. Was it in Iowa? I thought it was in Nebraska.
No, Nebraska's lame. We didn't have anything. We had Funplex.
Oh, Funplex. That's
yes. Yeah, it had the tall roller coaster. And then they had, maybe it was Adventureland was in Des Moines, and that was in Kansas City. Either way, we didn't go to any of that. They might as well have been on the moon. It's what happened. So, but I'm not very good at theme parks, so this would definitely, the big Mario Kart ride is the one that Nick will get on. Mr. Raven, that's the only ride. You have to reserve a seat for him. Oh, look, he's too big. Can't ride on that. Guess he's going to have to slurp down some more pancakes. Great segment. Last one of the news. Here you go, Kels.
All right. So this is from Engadget. It says 343 is reportedly starting from scratch on Halo development after layoffs. 343 Industries and Halo may be here to stay despite Microsoft's mass layoffs, but that doesn't mean it's business as usual for the franchise. Bloomberg sources claim that 343 is effectively restarting Halo development between multiple changes that include the loss of at least 95 jobs, including directors and key contractors. Notably, the studio is reportedly switching to Epic's Unreal Engine after both a leadership shuffle and struggling with its aging in-house platform, Slipspace. That's a word.
Yeah.
It's even breaking from its familiar story-driven gameplay, according to tipsters.
Yeah. So Interesting.
I figured it needs to be called 343 now. Since
Yeah, I noticed that, and I was just like, I'm going to let him go with that.
Hey, they're restarting, so I'm restarting how I say it.
343.
Yeah, 343 industries now.
I actually so speaking of that, I'll get Teams messages through my AirPods, and it'll be like, from Teams, such and such a room, Victoria Costantino says, visit this website, https://youtube.com/view/ID equals 3,478,300. And it's like, and it does not stop. It does not. Also, Siri's terrible, but that's a whole other thing. But
really quick, since we're on that, there's one thing that on AirPods that I was really surprised that Siri did. So somebody told me a date, right? And it said it was, I can't remember what the date was. Let's just say it was February 1st, but they put 1 Feb. But Siri, whenever it announced it automatically it said February 1st. I was like, whoa, I thought that was really interesting.
No, Siri, I was talking about 1 Feb.
Right?
Only 1 Feb.
Yeah, there's only 1 Feb in this world, okay?
Yeah.
And it happens once a year.
Yeah. I thought it just the way that it translated the date into American was interesting.
I wish it did more tricks like that and became something useful.
I mean, it's useful to me.
I wish I could uninstall Siri and install Google Assistant, and it would make everything.
I believe
so
her name.
much.
Oh, isn't her name Cortana?
No, that's Microsoft.
No, that's Microsoft.
That's true.
They abandoned.
Of course.
Speaking of axing things,
Speaking of axing things and Microsoft.
Yeah, Bixby. Yeah, that's great. I had a Note 8 and it had the Bixby button, and I spent so much energy either disabling Bixby or trying to remap the Bixby button to anything other than Bixby because and it's got a weird logo. Anyway, last episode, we talked about layoffs at the mixed reality. Microsoft, like everyone else, was laying off a whole bunch of people because they overhired during the pandemic and no one was working or whatever the heck they were doing. And apparently they are dedicated to HoloLens, kind of an update from that last episode. So their mixed reality, augmented reality dreams are still alive, but to what extent, we don't know. But 343 was one of the other parties that were affected by that, as well as some employees at like ZeniMax, Bethesda, and they just had their showcase actually not that long. They showed off like Redfall, a couple other games. They're going to have a separate event for Starfield, and they also released Hi-Fi Rush, which I downloaded immediately and have not played. So fantastic. But in regards to 343, I had Halo fatigue around 2. So this was 2004, and I bought Halo 3 because FOMO, and I have not really cared about Halo in like 20 years. And we played...
That's impressive, actually.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah. Oh, I'm still very much into Halo, but in the way... I don't want to interrupt what you were going to say.
No, go ahead, because we might be reaching the same point.
I could care less about Destiny.
That's not where I was going. But I played a lot of Destiny, not as much as Kelly has, or the second one.
That was the first one.
No, but you played the second one.
Oh yeah, but not as much.
Yeah. Oh, because I mean, it's more. It's double. It's double the Destiny.
Yeah.
Double the Destiny.
I just got sick of paying money.
Yeah.
To Destiny.
Well,
it wasn't my destiny to pay them money.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
So the point I was going to get at is that I haven't liked anything that 343 has put out in Halo at all. We played Halo 4 co-op. It was a 4-player co-op, if I remember right.
On like, what we played on the most difficult one. Too.
Yeah, that's what you do. Legendary.
Legendary.
Yeah. With the.
I mean, we're just that good.
Yeah.
Nobody else has beat it. On Legendary.
Yeah, we're just pwning noobs. Was it the Sangheili skull with the 2 blades and stuff like that?
I don't know what it is they're doing. I'm playing. As in, I'm trying to play Infinite on my PC. Which, granted, I don't have a fancy PC.
Okay.
But it chugs on Infinite so bad. It is so slow. And I don't know if they just do a awful time optimizing that game or what they do. Yeah. But I cannot get it to run well.
Yeah,
I don't have that problem with other games. So I don't know what they're doing over there for something that, like you said, has been a concept for the past 20 years.
Yeah, and it's interesting that the company that made Windows cannot make a game that runs well on Windows with the Halo Infinite badge on it. I didn't like Halo 4 at all. I don't like anything that they've done with that franchise ever since. There's something weird about Bungie and then Destiny. Like there's just the je ne sais quoi of what Bungie does, and Joseph Staten, even though Joseph Staten came in late into like the last year to help Infinite get out the door, no one has ever been like, yo, 343, you've done an amazing job. And that's despite the talent there. That's despite their technical prowess.
I'll tell them, you guys did a good job.
Oh, man.
Thank you, Kels. And that's not to disparage the people working there, but maybe the management is not that great and they don't know what the heck they're doing.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just time for it to take a rest.
Yeah, maybe it just does.
I mean, we have
infinite one.
An infinite one. We have so many shooters that are free to play now that are honestly more fun than Halo.
Yeah, Fortnite is amazing.
Yeah. Have you heard of that?
Warzone.
It's like PUBG, but with cartoons.
Fort?
Yeah, dude, there's forts in there, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It takes place at night.
I only know about the dancing parts.
Yeah. And Travis Scott had a concert in there. And I saw it.
Did you?
I think it was Marshmallow.
Live?
In fact, I just watched a video essay on Marshmallow's do a concert in Fortnite, so I know it's Marshmallow. Actually.
Well, but Travis Scott did one too.
Maybe he did.
Yeah, because I remember it. And he was...
Because you were there.
I was there. I was in there in the Fortnite.
You were flossing?
No. I don't know if I'd unlocked that.
Okay.
I don't know what is flossing.
The dance?
I know what it is. I know it's a dance, but like, what is it?
Dental care.
You dance.
God damn it.
It's however you want to dance. Just call it flossing.
I think of what's the one that Conan does?
Call you boomer.
Yeah, God, I know. What's the one that Conan does? He's like the ventriloquist or something. He's like snipping.
Isn't that his dance?
That is his one dance.
Conan?
Yeah, the Conan. Accurate. Yeah. I wish 343 the best, but also I wish they would know what the hell they're doing. Figure that out. Put something together.
Games. I mean, Halo Lens. Oh my God. I just figured it out.
Oh, man. Here we are.
That's
Bring
what's
back
going
Cortana.
on. That's what's going on.
I'm sorry. I didn't know what you said. Can you repeat that?
But she's going to be in your face this time with the Halo Lens.
Or maybe it's a monocle. Get yourself the Halo.
Right.
The 343 edition.
I hate everything about this.
Or it's a...
Oh, God,
there's James. Stop it. Stop it, James. All right. We're going to...
The screen is blue again for those who don't watch.
Now it's not. Now that you've said that.
Oh, God. He heard me.
Yeah, James heard you. Let's get to this thing that we're going to talk... We're going to talk about some more games. Kinda. Here we go. Main event. So we're all caught up on The Last of Us. We've already established this. And I watched them all kind of in one sitting. And I had to... I don't want to rehash like this entire... I actually re-watched our episode from last time just to make sure I wasn't repeating what we had already said from last week. Because last week, you guys had seen the first 2 episodes, and now there's been 2 more.
That was longer than last week.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Last episode.
Episode.
The last 2
episode.
weeks of us.
The last 2 weeks. Oh.
Did you... I don't know if I posted it anywhere, but someone did a meme. It was like the Baja Blast of Us. And it was Taco Baco. And I was like, man, that's real.
There's a lot of not sponsored in The Last of Us, just saying.
Yeah?
Everything.
Really?
Yeah.
What's...
prominent brands, Doritos, Sara Lee. I don't
remember.
Yeah, everywhere.
Starbucks. Branding everywhere.
Yeah.
There's so much branding.
Oh.
Like, it's like distressed.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Oh, that I do remember because she was like, she rips down her mask and eats the opponent and spits out the bones.
I don't know if that was...
That's my Ellie impression, by the way.
Yeah, that just seemed like that was video game logic.
Yeah.
Video game script. A lot of video game script, too.
Which is interesting. She would have been way too young to play that game for realsies.
Yeah. But no, I was just talking about like everywhere you go, it's very distressed logos that are either very clear.
The Arby's, actually.
Yeah, Arby's.
Yeah, I remember Arby's.
Like
Loves. Yeah, Loves.
Yeah.
I remember that
Loves
from
and
the
Arby's.
last one, the 4th episode. Yeah.
But the big Sara Lee truck blocking the road.
Well, Sometimes you just gotta cheesecake your way out of there.
Right. I was like, dang. I was like, I can't tell if this is sponsored or not.
Well, that's. I remember the big news around Transformers when GM went and paid like $16 million to subsidize the production of that movie, and it was like Camaros everywhere, and Buicks and all that stuff. Actually, even further back, Matrix Reloaded, when they had all those Cadillacs, because they used 30 or 40 of those in different stages of being shot up.
Yeah.
And it's like, these are the new Cadillacs, and they had the new phones. And Powerade, strategized architecture. I always remember that campaign. The Matrix, the promotional campaign around the Matrix was the second and third one really were absolutely incredible, and I missed that because they had new phones and all that stuff. Anyway, Last of Us. The first thing I felt watching The Last of Us is man, is this 2011? Because.
Okay,
this
go on.
I know, right?
Go on.
Yeah,
am I slipped back in time to a point where we were making zombie dramas, apocalyptic, violent zombie dramas? Because we were talking last week about Walking Dead, World War Z,
it was the peak of zombie drama.
It was peak zombie 10, 15 years ago. And that's when this first game came out.
Right.
I don't remember what year it was. Was it 2010, I think? I can use a calculator. I can't determine when things come out. I don't have that knowledge. Anyway, but this is a game of that era. And so here it is, showing up kind of late. Here's this zombie thing. Do you remember zombies? And I'm like, I do, from a long time ago. So
a long time ago in movie and media timelines, it does feel conceptually a little old.
Yeah.
Because none of us have played the games.
Right. We've continued to not play the games.
Okay. Just making sure I remembered that right.
Yes. I thought you were
No. Just literally
was there more to
remember.
that?
No,
Yeah,
I
don't know. I think I think it's a fresh take on stuff because I've watched all of The Walking Dead, just finished that, and I was upset with that. And so,
in what way?
The ending, and then knowing that there's 5 different spinoffs, instead of ending the show the way they should have, they're just maybe it'll show up in a spinoff.
Why not?
Yeah. So I think this is just a fresh take on that because I was definitely getting Walking Dead fatigued. Oh, another season, another bad guy somewhere, and then you can start the whole process over.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't turn into that.
Yeah.
Hey, we were talking last episode. Thank you, Kelly, for not even saying anything. I just caught myself. How many shows can they make it? Because I don't know how far in the game this is. And are they going to do the sequel game that takes place 5-10 years later or something?
The sequel is supposed to happen in season 2. I definitely was reading that. So I guess they're doing a season per game, which is pretty impressive.
How many episodes are they supposed to be doing?
That I do not know.
Okay.
And from what I've heard about from folks that have played the game is that this is pretty on beat with the game, and also arguably maybe too on beat with the game.
Oh, well, I'm blissfully ignorant then.
I have heard, quote, this show is boring if you've already played the game because it is maybe too much like the game. As somebody that hasn't played it, I think it's extremely compelling, and maybe I should have played the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen video comparisons where they show scenes
frame by frame, side by side.
And I just think that's cool. Actually, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's really cool that they're very faithful to the script and decided to do it. Yeah,
and I like that too. But I'm wondering if maybe they do it too much, and I just don't know because I haven't played it.
That's how you get a show greenlit. It's all right, I'm going to show you this game, and all you have to do is just give us a little bit more money. We're going to make this again. Don't even think about it. As a show, yeah. We're going to take this cutscene that is a video. Sorry, am I hitting? There you go.
Oh yeah.
We're just going to reproduce this frame for frame. It's not going to cost you much. Okay.
Right.
We're just going to green screen.
Yeah. We'll just take some of the stuff out of the game and just put it in here.
Yeah.
Where we're missing stuff.
And to its credit, it's well produced. It looks good. It's there's production value in here. It looks really, really good. And I had a point in there somewhere, but it's lost forever.
Do we want to talk about episode 3?
Yeah. Actually, if we want to dive right into that, since we've already done episodes 1 and 2, go watch last episode about 1 and 2, where you guys kind of talked about where they set up. They're fleeing Boston. The whole thing. There was I don't know how I felt about the fight in the Capitol, or the grenades. Spoilers, by the way.
Big ol' spoilers.
Big ol' spoilers. Yeah, that's interesting. There were parts like when they touch the mushrooms, the magic mushrooms, and it's like, oh, it's gonna wake up thing somewhere else, and it's like that was a cutscene or something. Like that's a game mechanic. Like they're wandering around gathering stuff because they're low on supplies. They need 3 of this, 4 of this.
Don't touch this magic mushroom.
Don't touch this magic mushroom. Absolutely. Yeah. I liked how they opened the second one with Indonesia and Jakarta, and they're like, "So how do we fix this? Just bomb the whole city."
Yeah, you're just screwed. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just how it works. How did Cordyceps in there? So yeah, I had a really really good point in there somewhere, but it's lost forever.
Episode 3.
You want to start that? This has been before I'd seen any of them. Everyone was like, "You gotta see episode 3." And I recalled, because I watched the last episode, I'm like, no, episode 3 is going to be garbage. And you're like, oh, Nick, don't jinx it. I'm like, well, I just did. And it turns out
like me and Andor.
Yeah, exactly. So episode 3 is not. It is
great TV.
Yes.
It is great TV.
And it is divergent from the game.
And that makes me wonder if that's, besides the elephant in the room of we're going to have 2 prominently gay characters, which doesn't happen often enough, I'm wondering if that is not what is going to make the show great when he does deviate. Because, I mean, if you've seen Chernobyl, we know that Craig Mazin has a ton of potential. He's really great at what he does. I want to see it more. Mm-hmm. I want to see episodes like episode 3 again.
Yeah, and I think that worked out. It's a love story over the course of a very, very long time, 20 years.
Something like that,
yeah. I had a really good point. I was so enthusiastic that Amy Poehler and NBC were happy to let Nick Offerman reprise his role as Ron Swanson.
That was your point?
Yeah. The other point's lost forever. But this one I've been waiting on. I was waiting to spring that on you, because as soon as I saw his prepper house and the guns and ammo magazines and his wall of guns and his security, it's like he's just playing him. He's just playing the bureaucrat. That's what But he's so handsome in this. It's with the long hair and the beard. Yeah.
I forgot. I was like, yeah, he didn't have long hair. In Parks and Rec.
He had the mustache.
Yeah,
absolutely. What did you think of Bill? He's Bill.
There's Bill and Frank.
Bill and Frank. Yeah. What did you think?
So I'm one that hates filler episodes and backstory episodes of shows, but I think this was so early on that it was good. Like, I was really surprised because that episode actually made me cry. So
it made me cry too.
Yeah. So
100%.
Yeah. But I would like, I could. It was very like there's some predictable parts, and so like I knew what was going on right away. Like I was like, oh, okay, I got it. But like I still liked it because I liked the whole prepping and then the overtime and everything like that, and then still bringing in Joel and Tess into it. So it was like, hey, this is how we loop it together, like to bring it back. So I thought that was good.
Well, filler episodes are great if they prove to have value.
But they never do. That's why it's a filler.
Yeah,
bottle episodes,
right? Yeah, I guess it wasn't a bottle episode.
It was not a bottle episode.
You're telling this story to bring humanity and to show why it's important that they showed up here. It all had really good motivation, and the acting is just on par. It was pretty great.
It was on par. It was kind of baseline.
This is how I would have expected an actor to act.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? They were up there. They said words.
Yeah. They said words.
Things. Got a paycheck.
Acted stuff.
The only thing that I didn't like is that I would have thought, like, how did this little town not get discovered as much as one time. You know,
well, because Fedra and all that were so busy with their QZs, and it was out in like rural Massachusetts or something like that, like 10 or 20 miles beyond. Because it was like 10 miles outside of Boston, and then it was like another 5-hour hike. or something to their compound.
And then it just seemed like that there should have been more like trading too. I was like, we're gonna see Joel, like, because to me it seemed like Joel met them both one time, and then like and then they had this friendship.
But that's the only one they show.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So that's I thought there was going to be more to it. I thought there was going to be like, oh yeah, they do a lot of trading with him, and he did help him with the stuff. You know, I think there was a lot of implied things, but I just wanted to see just a little bit more of that, just to tie it back in there. But other than that, I thought the episode was fantastic.
Yeah. It was really good. I was expecting him to go out in like a blaze of glory. Like there's that climax kind of like 2/3 of the way through where they're like the Raiders come in and they're like the gas lines everywhere and the flames and the split saws and all that stuff. And I thought like, oh no, this is when Bill's dead. This is when Nick Offerman's done. He's done. Yeah. You know, and here's Frank like, no, you're good. You're good. You got this. It's like, no, he's dead. He's gone.
Right. And then you think he's dead. Yeah. Like,
and then I definitely thought he was dead.
Yeah, me too.
And it was fade to black. And then it's like, nope, he's fine.
He's okay.
Yeah. But now the other one has a degenerative disease, and it's like, oh no.
Presumably some sort of cancer or brain.
I thought it was like
something.
maybe like MS or something.
Yeah. Or ALS or something.
They kept it really vague. I don't know. I thought that was.
This is not a science show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that like you try to piece it together and figure out, okay, well, what does he have? How can they figure out how to cure it? In reality, it wouldn't be like that. You wouldn't know. He's just dying, you know, and they've got the meds that they've got, and that was it. So I'm actually really glad they didn't really address that much. And I thought that was actually a bigger deal, that we're just not going to talk about it. All you see is somebody that's suffering.
Well, and really good. And I really like the, they didn't have a cure for this before all the stuff happened. So it's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I really liked how they aged him.
Oh, yeah.
And ditto like Pedro Pascal and Joel over the course of, these 20 years or so. Mm-hmm. I get the vibe that each episode's going to have like kind of a mission objective because
it's a video game.
Because it's a video game, yeah. Because at the end of the second episode, Tess dies in a sacrifice, and she's supposed to be the untalked about love interest, right? I mean, you see it in the first two episodes between her and Joel, but then now the series is really kind of hinging on Tess really meaning a lot to Joel and not to bring it up because it was so important. And it's like, I don't know if it feels really earned that, like really built out how important Tess was to Joel for me to really feel anything that, this is really a source. But if it was like if this was like season 2 and then Tess dies at the second episode of the season 2, I would feel something. But it really feels like, man, we got to get rid of Tess because at the end of chapter 2 of whatever, she's dead. We can't have her keep going. It's gonna mess up the whole story. Right. And then episode 3 into episode 4, they get this truck. They camp out. And then they lose the truck like the first third, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" That is. But
then Joel also brought up Tess too, so it's like, so he was like, "Wait, hold on, I thought we weren't going to talk about her."
Yeah,
but then let's talk about her.
So it's like, because what are we going to do? We've got 25 hours. It's time for some exposition. Right, let's get going.
Is the story going to take more than 25 hours?
Yeah, you want to do some character building? Right. Like, let's go.
Yeah, but then immediately fall asleep.
Yeah, that was so cool. I like that, and then the puns. The puns are great.
Why are you pointing at me about puns?
Because you're the woman
I do love puns.
Yes,
I do love puns.
The jokes you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the puns
in the book.
the pun
book. Was it a pun book?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those too. I thought that was great.
That was a
little bit of humor.
I don't know.
I don't know, like, I've seen like a lot of people not like the actress that played. They're like, they should have done somebody else, but I think she's doing a fantastic job.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I think I mentioned that last time too, but
I think she did too.
Yeah, but I still think they have a good dynamic, like between the two.
Yeah,
so.
I remember when the game came out, and I thought it was a pre-transition Elliot Page.
Oh, I thought
that was like, that's who they might. It's like, no, it's someone else entirely. I'm like, but it looks like them. Like, so.
And their name is Ellie.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, huh? And they were in Beyond Two Souls, I guess it would have been like 5 years afterward or something like that. But it's like, I thought that was them in there, but no. So them having Ellie, the actress, I can't remember. It's like tip of my tongue. She doesn't quite look like her, but she is so sassy. And not having played the games, I don't know how sassy that's supposed to be.
It does seem like she's nailed that down from some of the scenes I've seen too that are like, you know, comparing the game and the show. Yeah, it seems like she's got that just hardwired. That's her personality.
That's who she is,
and that's, you know, it's kind of what we saw in Game of Thrones. You know, she was really sassy there too. She's definitely got the personality.
Yeah, I think, and she did a good job of like breaking up like the ending of episode 3, you know, like especially when we're like coming into the house and then like hearing 80s and like, oh, code, got it.
Yeah,
you know, like, you know, like, and just the, you know, all that stuff. I think they did a good job. And, she's fantastic at this with the character. So,
and they made it out to Kansas City by episode 4. So they're on they're headed west from Boston because they're trying to track down a signal from Joel's brother Tommy. Tommy or Tony. And they're going to Cody, Wyoming, because they haven't heard from him. It's like, well, what else are we going to do? So let's go west and do this because the Fireflies want Ellie because she's immune to the fungus among us. So let's go. Yeah. And so it's a road trip show, essentially. I like the emptiness of it. I like that there's basically no one, but they still hide as if potentially someone could pop along at any point and take care of stuff. When they wake up and they're camping and they wake up and it's like, man, and you just hear loud, just like the sound of nature and birds and insects and stuff like that. And like, I almost feel the cold. It reminded me of when I was camping, like in the Boy Scouts and stuff like that. It's like, man, you guys nailed it.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah. That was pretty great.
I think they just do a good job of like a lot of stuff, like a lot of like just like this is how it is, you know, like, and then like a lot of not like no emotion type thing, but showing emotion too. I don't know. Like I think is just like with the last episode, with the stuff that happened in there and everything like that with Ellie and then the guy that she shot and everything like that. I think there was like they were like conveying a lot of emotion but also not showing emotion. Like this is just how it is. Like it's been like this for the last 20 years, you know. Yeah. So it's like that kind of stuff. And then with like the kid in the very first episode, or was it the first episode or maybe the second episode?
I think it was the first one.
Yeah. And so you're just like, you're like, yep, that's just how it is, you know. Yeah. But like I think they do a good job of like all that balance, like you said, with the nature and the emptiness, but there's a danger and everything like that too. So you know what's the scary? I think of the 4 episodes, the scariest thing in the show was when Joel's daughter is in the neighbor's house, and in the background, out of focus, is the old woman, and she's like, right,
like twitching and like her mouth open. It's like something's happening.
Yeah.
Something's happening. But can't reveal it yet. This show also has that irritating thing of you need to be doing something that you're not doing. Go do it. Stop talking. Let's go. And I remember it's like, get in the truck. Get in the truck. You have to go. And they're just like, oh, but what happened? Oh, well, you know, you just get in the truck. You can talk about it on the way.
Right.
I wonder if it feels video gamey to people who aren't video game people. I will say that I think that episode 4 is by far the weakest episode so far.
Yeah. It's like the first part of a 2-parter, and they're actually gaming it. They're releasing the 5th one early for streaming ahead of the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right. It's coming out on Friday instead of Sunday. The
season finale of this season of football is airing next Sunday, so they're like, let's get ahead of this.
Yeah.
So they're doing episode 5 early on Friday. Mm-hmm. So that's going to wrap up, I guess, this Kansas City chapter of the saga.
Wonder if there's going to be a nod since Kansas City is playing in the Super Bowl.
I was just going to ask, are the Chiefs playing?
I'm thinking that episode of The Simpsons where they're like, don't you guys want to see the Super Bowl featuring the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos. They could do that.
So
just
they
dub
could
in
dub it, yeah.
They just dub in. Man, don't you remember, when Kansas City Chiefs played the Super Bowl in 2023, which is actually this year. Because it takes place now. It's this alternate timeline of zombies from 2003. Aren't you guys glad that we didn't have a zombie apocalypse in 2003?
Wait, what were we supposed to?
Just in general?
Just broadly. It's good that we didn't ever have one, but specifically in 2003.
Well, because that would have interrupted the release of School of Rock, which would be a big problem for me. So I'm glad that there was not a zombie apocalypse in 2003.
Yeah, it would have really
messed with it.
It would have messed with like BioShock, the three of them. We wouldn't even have. I actually thought it was weird, especially in the first season, and I kind of reflected on it later, but the idea of you're in Boston and these buildings are tilted over into each other, like how in the world do you even do that? How did that even happen? And they didn't.
Well, they said there was bombing and
that's the point I came. But how do you bomb a building in such a way that it falls over just a little bit, kind of like we're just gonna hug for a while forever until one of us eventually fails. So you have these buildings that are like leaned against each other like trees. And it's like, that's not how any of this works. But it looks apocalyptic. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
look at all these knobs, okay?
Nick Raven, reporter, engineer.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, structural engineer.
I'm structuring the audio of this right now. I'm sitting here
he is
with
engineering
headphones. I am sitting here in Premiere afterwards listening to you guys and me.
Yeah.
And making some of us louder and some of us a little quieter. And that's just how it goes. And then putting it in a video wrapper and sending it to the internet.
Yeah, I would just think that like I don't know, that we just build stuff good in America.
And this is our review of episode 4, which is how much it impressed all of us that we can't even really talk about it. Like, we haven't even talked about the big bad yet.
Melanie Malinsky or what?
I believe so. I think that's her name.
Yeah, she's been in a half. She was in Ever After.
Yeah,
she was one of the daughters or something. She was in that newer movie with the person.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I think that's
awesome.
Pretty much. Yeah, she was with Elijah Wood, and she's like taking revenge against someone, and he's the murderer, or the person who will murder for her, something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like a Netflix thing, if I remember right.
Okay.
It was kind of indie thing.
All right.
Anyway, she's the big bad.
Yeah. Well, that episode. That episode.
Yeah.
But
the real bad.
That's how impressive episode 4 is. That we don't know this character's or remember this character's name.
Yeah.
I don't know her motivation. Do we know her motivation?
Her motivation is to shoot doctors in the head.
I guess so.
Yeah. And you get dude with long hair who's like clearly the sergeant at arms or something, reporting back on all the stuff that's going on.
I thought that there was a coup happening. Like, I swear, like, whenever they're like, hey, come take a look at this, because I just thought, like, maybe people didn't like her or something like that. And that the guy was, like, leading her to this dark room and was just going to take her out and take over.
Yeah.
Because he had that, like, he has that presence, of like, I'm going to be the one who's in charge, not this lady that's,
his mom or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just telling people that to go find people.
She's wearing 2 coats. You can't wear 2 coats. That's twice as many coats as a lot of us have.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. It just seemed really weird. The whole, like, all of those people just seemed really weird. How they're just like, I don't know. I just thought it was very video game-esque.
It was very video game.
Whenever they're sitting there, whenever they're hiding behind the truck, and it's like, you done messed up now.
Yeah.
The truck drives by with run graffiti on it.
Like I'm waiting for the camera to pull back just a little bit, and the UI appears, and it's like, all right, Joel, let's go left and try and take these pot shots.
It was just very NPC dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like,
I'm going to get you, stranger.
Yeah.
When's the Troy Baker cameo?
James, I don't know. I don't know. I gotta reload.
Yeah. Got me out of ammo.
Yeah.
Like
someone be like, press X.
Yeah.
Or something.
Just waiting for him to, like, repeat.
Yeah. Or he screws up a reload and he's like, damn it. And like, he's getting choked out by the dude. And you're just like, hammer the X and the A buttons at the same time, or square and triangle at the same time to get out of this. And in reality, all you have to do is hit circle, and here comes Ellie to shoot him in the leg.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
You missed out.
Yeah.
Or that you just left it there because you had to go use the bathroom. You just come back and Joel's still getting strangled out. Before just waiting for you to hit that prompt.
Yeah. Or it's just reloading the save. It's like, all right, we're going to reload the last checkpoint. Okay. All right, we're going to do this encounter again.
Right.
See if you get it right this time.
Right.
That would have made the game, this episode maybe more interesting. Is like, all right, here is Joel screwing up like 20 times, and then the show continues, and no explanation whatsoever about why. And it like he screws up slightly differently, and then like the screen goes red, or I don't know what the fail state is in that game. Like The Last of Us.
Is it a quote?
Yeah,
you die.
Call of Duty.
Yeah, Call of Duty.
Yeah,
quote.
we are now embarking on a great journey. General Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Right. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's like Dante's Inferno, where it has quotes that show up from Dante to let you really...
Talking about himself on this journey that he's on?
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I get what they're trying to do.
So, yeah. Yeah. Gosh, could you imagine it just pops up and it's just quotes by them? Right. It's like, gosh, I hate shooting zombies.
Well,
do they even call them zombies?
I don't know what they call them.
They don't call them like walkers. They don't call them like
the ones
they call them?
they do have the clickers.
Yeah. I remember that from the game too.
Yeah, but then
I haven't played.
What are the rest of them called?
I don't know.
The fun
infected.
Guys?
I think they do call them infected.
I think maybe. Yeah. Actually, it was pretty creepy when they touched the magic mushroom, and then like all of these dead people start animating to life and rushing the Capitol building. I'm like, oh, okay. And the kiss.
Yeah, the kiss was pretty intense.
And she cannot freaking start her freaking Zippo, her just regular lighter.
I forgot about that. I thought that was just...
But apparently that's shot for shot from the game, too. So I'm just like, I really want to appreciate it. And I guess I'm really appreciating the adaptation. But as far as a show, it just makes me a little concerned. I still really love the show. Yeah. But I'm a little nervous, especially after the lackluster 4th episode.
Yeah. I mean, they've got to have the slower episodes to it. Not every cut can be a single, okay? That's how it goes in this industry.
I don't know. There's some other good shows out there.
I'm trying to think of how that scene looked like on the PS3 with like far fewer polygons and stuff like that. Or it's just like triangles coming out of the mouth and like a texture or something. It's like, this should be grossing me out, but man, it's so just high definition. Anyway, final thoughts on The Last of Us. We're gonna keep watching it. Maybe when I said that episode 3 was gonna be the bad one, maybe it was episode 4.
Yeah, maybe you're just off. One. Yeah, because you started late.
Yeah, so. That's what I'm thinking.
And then you like screwed up on one of the podcasts, so it's like you were behind. So
it's a trend.
Yeah. So that's what's going on.
Is this
so? Just add one to anything else.
Okay. Yeah. Just carry the one.
Yeah, just carry
forever.
Yeah, forever.
Forever.
I don't like this story.
Yeah.
Before we leave, because I totally forgot, and I didn't write it on. I did write it on here. You have to talk about Poker Face.
I have to talk about Poker Face.
Yeah.
Poker Face is an incredibly good show on Peacock, but I don't want to talk about Poker Face.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about Skinamarink.
What's Skinamarink? Is that on Peacock?
It's not on Peacock. It's on Shudder. Are y'all familiar with Shudder?
That sounds like one of those Crackle services that it's like, man.
So kind of. It's exclusively for horror movies. Now, I'm not the biggest horror movie person, but I've seen quite a few of them.
Okay.
Like quite a few of them.
Just incidentally.
Incidentally and on purpose, every October I make it my mission to watch a certain genre of horror movies. So I've done like foreign horror, I've done classic 80s slasher horror, and other genres like that. I really try to like get through those because I don't really, not that I don't like watching horror, it's just not usually in my scope. So I have to purposefully, anyway, point aside, Shudder is actually a pretty cool streaming service.
Does it have Event Horizon?
Maybe.
Oh.
I don't
know. Do you like that movie?
I've never seen it.
That's the movie. That's the horror movie for.
I do need to see it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's maybe it's Paul W.S. Anderson's best movie, which is saying a lot.
I know it's a good movie. I just haven't seen it. Anyway, Skinamarink. Skinamarink went viral. I want to say maybe it was like on TikTok, maybe like even a year ago, because the concept is, and this doesn't spoil anything because I don't know if it's possible to spoil this movie.
Okay.
90s style shooting, like handheld camera shooting.
Uh-huh.
2 kids and a dad. The dad disappears overnight, and so the kids are home alone. So we've all seen something either on the internet or a picture or something where it's like, oh, that's a dark corridor. My brain is playing tricks on me. Maybe I can see something spooky down there, but maybe it's just my brain playing tricks on me. Well, the point of Skinamarink was to do that for a movie, which I think is a great concept. Absolutely play with psychological horror. But there are so many things that take you out. And so I have a question that maybe this is for hot takes. Give me your hot takes.
Okay.
Is it the responsibility of a movie to scare you, or is it of a horror movie to scare you, or is it your responsibility to sit in a room in the dark by yourself to prepare yourself? Whose responsibility is that?
So does it fall on the viewer to condition themselves?
Yes.
And to get into the mindset? Like playing... Okay, that's fair.
Kelly says no.
I don't know. Like, I think of scary games where it's like I only play it in broad daylight with all the windows open, and it's like, am I really just playing... Am I playing a horror game at that point, or am I playing an action game that's really dark? No?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
You don't see that? Mm-mm. Okay. I don't know. It seems like there's...
Conditional, maybe.
I think there's some conditional. Like watching a scary movie in a theater versus on a... I don't know. However, the opposite of that.
So I'm of the opinion where it is not my responsibility to make sure that I'm sitting in a dark room. You can scare me with all the lights off. Uh-huh. I've seen plenty of movies. Like, it's why I can't play Prey 2016. 2016?
2017.
2017.
Yeah.
It is something about that environment truly terrifies me.
Really?
I have a hard time playing that game because of that. I cannot tell you why, but the game did a great job on that one particular aspect for me. Me as the player.
Sure.
I think the movie should be the exact same way. You are responsible for scaring me. I am not responsible for turning off the lights.
I was going to say, like, BioShock would freak me out a bit, but Prey 2017 was a little easier. And I am a scaredy cat. I tell you, I don't like playing the scary games. I don't like the original Thief scary game. The rest of them, not as much.
So
but the first
the argument for Skinamarink is that it is the Gen Z version
the TikToker
version of Blair Witch.
Oh
is the right response. If you can't tell by my tone yet, I hated Skinamarink.
Oh, okay. That is bubbling over.
I hated Skinamarink, which is why I really wanted to talk about it, because it is getting really viral, and this is one of the love it or hate it movies.
Why is it going viral?
So,
because there's nothing else for Gen Z to do.
I know. 2-minute videos about pie crust and stuff, or Skinamarink.
I'm not entirely sure why it is sticking with Gen Z, because it is supposed to take place in the 90s. You've got this grain on the camera that does not represent 90s grain whatsoever. It is supposed to be mimicking handheld because of the amount of grain.
Uh-huh.
Yet there are many shots that are clearly on a tripod that's panning over, so it completely takes you out of it. There are... And these are
just steady hands.
Oh, my God. But there's nobody to be holding the camera. Oh. Because the children are very young. They're like 4 and 6 or something like that. They're very, very young. So who's holding the camera? Why does the grain look wrong? You might not recognize it, but it's because it's not 90s grain. Mm-hmm. They have toys strewn around the house that are not toys from the 90s. The house is not decorated in 90s style. So it's completely taking you out of this. So even with Gen Z's like fixation on 90s stuff, I don't know why it's connecting, because it's connecting wrong in every aspect. Not even like a parody kind of aspect. It's just
so it's like, who is this for?
Wrong. Who is this for?
Well, because they don't know, so they can't verify. So they
but
can't
and to make it worse,
like who makes a sequel to X-Files? Who makes more episodes of the X-Files? Who are you trying to watch that?
Me.
And that's
us millennials.
People that already like the X-Files, right?
Exactly.
And I love Blair Witch. I think it's impressive. In
the 1999 independent, most profitable movie of all time.
I like it.
Okay.
So I like this genre of movie. The first 20 minutes of Skinamarink, there is zero dialogue, which can be fine. Every single shot is off focus and off center purposefully.
Of course.
You do not know what you're looking at besides it's just, here is a wall. Cut, here is a door. Cut, here is the floor. Random dissolve. Here's a different window. This happens for 20 minutes, and I am not joking. And I do not know who has the patience for this movie. And I watched it at night. Granted, I was sitting next to my husband, but it's not like we were trying to be distracted. We were trying to give it everything it had. And it was so boring.
Were they artistic dissolves?
No. Well, I mean, they were dissolves. Did they have a purpose? As somebody who's an editor, they do not have a purpose. The purpose of a dissolve is to pass a period of time, typically. Was it supposed to do that? I don't know.
It did. It passed the period of time in which you watched it.
20 minutes passed.
Yeah.
Seriously, I am so confused by this movie. It didn't have a plot. It was not scary. It had a jump scare every now and then that didn't solidify, at least for me. Maybe I am not the right audience. That is the only thing I can guess, because I thought this movie was garbage, and there are tons of movies that do this theme better. Mm-hmm. And so I can't fathom why it's viral, besides that it's slightly different than Megan that's out, which is actually a good movie.
There was an episode recently of I don't know if it was Half in the Bag or Best of the Worst, Red Letter Media, where it was like the last season or something like that. It's this 2010 indie film, and it sounds exactly like that. They have, so all of the sets and all the props are made out of 8.5 by 11 paper. Like they have an MRI machine that it's like it forms the casing, but then it's just 8 pages of 8.5 by 11 on top of it, and then like cut to edges and stuff like that, and random shots of people and then not people, and then like the worst audio you've ever heard from every indie film that has a budget of no money. Reportedly it was like a $5 million budget, but they must have spent it on pizza or drugs or something. Clearly, great episode of that show, but they're watching it and nothing makes sense, and there is no plot, and things happen.
That was the other thing I was going to mention. So Skinamarink cost apparently only $15,000, which, again, if this had been a successful movie for me as a viewer, I would have been like blown away.
Sure. But
I love slow, boring movies, which is why I don't get it. I love like a ghost story where there is a good 15-minute one shot of Mara Rooney shoving her face full of pie. Like, I like.
What movie was that?
A Ghost Story.
Oh.
I'll send it to you later. It's pretty particular.
Is it scary?
No.
Oh. But it's when we got 15 minutes of Mara Rooney
stuffing her face full of pie.
With a pie. Yeah.
Okay. And I love these movies that take their time very quietly, very slowly. That is a genre I really enjoy. So to watch something that I thought was done so poorly in that was almost offensive for me because I enjoy that stuff. So I don't know, if somebody is listening to the podcast or watching it on YouTube, they should comment and tell me what I missed.
You can even send us an email too.
Send us an email.
What did I miss here? Send an email to podcasts@6035media.org. That's 60 spelled out. And tell us, I am the director of Skinamarink. You don't understand my art.
That's fine.
That's a good starter. And then you can say whatever you want after that.
Okay.
And then we can talk about that. So you said it's on Shudder, right?
It is on Shudder. It did go to the movie theater. Like, I think it might currently be in one of the movie theaters. It came back to theaters or was released in theaters for the first time because it went viral.
Oh.
So it's
at festivals.
Yeah. I've never been to a film festival.
We got to get that. Wait, don't you have to release to get nominated for awards?
You have to you have to be in a theater in Los Angeles for like a week or something to get in order to get nominated for. Yeah.
That's award worthy.
Best Skinamarink award.
It's not award worthy. It's also, how long was it? It was something like, it's an hour 40 or something.
Wow.
If it would have been like a 20-minute short, it might have actually been terrifying. Maybe.
Just the walls.
What if it was just dissolves?
A lot of it was dissolves.
What if more of it was dissolves?
More dissolves. What if it was all dissolved and it was just a grainy, not 90s grainy mess?
What if?
Oh wait, it was. Yeah. Oh wait, it was. All right, I'm done dragging Skinamarink now.
Credits.
What if it was one of those things where, as you watch it, the bit rate gradually goes down until eventually it's just like pink and gray squares, like
James Cameron behind us.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Or like, let me tell you about JPEGs.
Yeah. I would watch a movie like that. It's like we have to resolve the MacGuffin, get the MacGuffin, resolve the issue at this movie before we're compressed down to 15 bits.
Right.
And then we are completely incomprehensible. That's called the Hot Takes movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
We're pretty incomprehensible.
Speaking of which, thank you for listening, watching at home. And thank you guys for being here in the studio, not virtually. I will never delete that now because that's just a log I've got to step over and just go through that. But yeah, thank you, Victoria. And I've bumped you guys up to co-hosts in the credits now. So,
Wow.
Yeah. No additional pay.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, there's rank 0. That's great.
Does that mean we technically went down in pay?
You know, when you multiply a negative number by a positive number, it's still negative. That's what I remember. Again, remember, if you have a comment or question you'd like us to answer or address on the air, send an email to podcast@6035media.org. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that fun social media stuff. And when you send an email, put hot takes somewhere in the subject line. That helps us find it. Not that we get a ton of emails, but, you know,
it's
nice. You know, sometimes it's nice to just wake up and be like, here's an email to Hot Takes.
Well, when the director of Skinamarink emails us, I want to make sure he knows to talk to us.
Yeah, and it'll be right after the email from Edward that says, I don't have a question. I just want to let you know that I've been listening to you guys for the past 10 episodes. I'm really happy. You've been really the highlight of the past couple months. You guys have been in existence, so thank you. And it's like, well, that's not a question, but thank you. Oh, that's great. Anyway, thank you, and be sure to join us next episode where we eat an entire cheese wheel. We'll have some hot takes for you then, too!